Hi YouTube, it's your girl Ash, and today I am here, as you can tell by the title, with another book talk. My book talk today is on The Chemist by Stephenie Meyer, who is the New York Times best-selling author of the Twilight Saga. Also have my books I read this year notebook. I will be reading off of that. It has my thoughts and everything. So I'm just going to give you a chance to look at the cover. Okay, get my thumbnail. Okay. So this book came out in November and it has 518 pages. I originally gave it a rating of 5 stars, but ultimately decided on 4.5, and I will get into that later in the video. This book follows Dr. Juliana Fortes, who, because of her former job working with the government in a position so clandestine it didn't have a name, has been on the run for 3 years after the government perceived her as a liability and tried to kill her. Okay, so because of being on the run for 3 years, Juliana, and technically Juliana has been declared dead. She had to before she could work with the government. So she goes by a bunch of different names throughout the book, but a majority of the book she spends as Alex. So I will be referring to her as Alex. So when we first meet Alex, she is driving through some small towns trying to find the one that's the perfect size where she can go unnoticed to use the library. So she finally comes upon one and she gets on the computer and she has an email from her former boss, Karsten, who says that if she takes one more job with the government, that they will basically wipe away everything she did and she will be free, no more having to hide and being on the run as she has been so far. So she decides, of course, I'll take the job. The job is to get information out of Daniel Beach, who supposedly is working with a Mexican drug lord to spread a deadly disease in the United States that, on contact, will kill millions of American citizens ever before the CDC has a chance to identify what the disease is and a cure for it. Juliana knows that she is the best the government has ever had in this position, and they have not been able to fill it with anybody as great as she is since she's been gone. So she feels a very staunch duty to protect the American public from this disease and agrees to take the job. While she is torturing Daniel to get the information about where the disease is and what the disease is and how to cure it, because the files that she's given by her former employer tell her that these are all things that Daniel is going to know. Daniel's brother, Kevin, who, shocker, is his twin, finds the location that Alex and Daniel are hiding in, and he busts in and is there with the intention of saving Daniel. It's then that Alex and Kevin find out that their respective government jobs are trying to kill them, and so they set this up hoping that one will kill the other and that they would only have to worry about trying to kill one more after that instead of trying to kill these two very difficult to find people. And so they decide that instead of being the enemies that the government wants them to be, they're going to work together in order to bring down both of their former employers who are trying to kill them. And once she starts being on the run and working with Kevin, the information that she finds out from Kevin puts her in more danger than she was to begin with, and now it is literally a fight to stay alive. and to bring herself and Kevin the justice they believe they deserve. Okay, so what I loved about this book, it was a very well written book, as you will find out in the acknowledgments if you choose to read it. That Stephenie Myers talked to veterinarians, she talked to scientists, she talked to former military personnel. This was a very thoroughly researched um, book, and it comes across when you read it, and it's something that I very much appreciated. It it was not predictable. It was able to hold my attention the whole way through because, as you can see, this book is big. Even if it doesn't look big, it is. It is 518 pages, like I said, and I'm the type of reader that needs to be got within like the first three chapters, or I'm not gonna read. And she was able to do that. Okay, so what I didn't like about the book, I did not like the romance that happens in the book between the two characters. Even though it was cute, it was well written, it wasn't cheesy, it wasn't Twilight esque. I just did not want a romance. I wanted a story that focused on a kick butt heroine who was an independent woman who was taking care of herself and out here, trying to fight against the government to stay alive. And I didn't want a romance. And the whole time it was building up, I was like, please, no, no, just let them end up friends. But of course, Stephenie Myers had to give us a romance. She always does it in every book I think she's ever written, if I'm not mistaken. So like I said, while the romance wasn't bad, I just did not want it. And so that took my 5-star book down to a 4.5. Let me see. I think that's the only thing I did and like about this book. I will say one thing though that's, not a negative or positive. It just depends on um who's reading. Stephenie Myers is very long winded in her writing. Like her chapters are not going to be small, which sometimes is very daunting when you're already starting with a big book and then you have chapters that are like 10, well, 15 to 20, sometimes pages, and no page breaks. So if you're someone like me, you feel like you have to read straight through. But that's something that I wanted you to keep in mind. She wrote the same way for Twilight, so if you've read the Twilight series, it probably won't be bad for you. Let me see what I want to say. Okay, so let me go to my final thoughts. I love this book. I feel like it was very well written. As I've said before, it was very cinematic. Stephenie Myers was just perfect in her descriptions of um, Alex setting up traps and um, hooking up gas masks and the torture scenes that she does to the hitmen who are sent out to kill her. I just feel like this book would be very, like, would translate very well into a movie. It is a spy thriller. I did not say it in the beginning, but it is a spy thriller. So if you're looking to dip your toe into spy thrillers or it's something that you love, you might want to give this book a try. It's my first, so I can't say that it's the end all be all of spy thrillers, but I really, really enjoyed it. And to me, that's the most important thing when I'm reading a book is that it's a book that I can really enjoy because what's the point of reading a book you're struggling to get through? So I'm going to say that I definitely 110% recommend The Chemist by Stephenie Meyer. And that is it. That is my review of The Chemist by Stephenie Myers. If you like this video, please thumbs it up. In the comment section below, if you have any more thrillers or any spy thrillers that you feel like I would like based on this, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you feel inclined to do so, Please subscribe. Please share. It would be graciously appreciated. And as always, until we meet again.